All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our National Friend Check-in. And I just wanted to hop on here really, really quickly to participate in this amazing movement. Y'all say hello to my special guest today, y'all. Her name is
Joy.
This is Joy. This is my daughter. And she's going to join me tonight in this conversation. Listen, we're not going to be on here too long. But one of my really good friends, Jaden, please turn it down. One of my really good friends and my cousin, she started this national movement, National Friendship Check-in Day. And if you guys haven't gone to the website to read about it, one of her friends was going through and she dropped everything to go see about her. And then like almost like a year later, she ended up, her friend ended up doing the same thing for her, pretty much. And so, are you gonna smile? Y'all gotta pray for her. So pretty much, she started this movement of a National Friend Check-in Day, and I think one of the questions that we always say is like, who checks on the strong one? Like, who is the one who checks on the strong friend? Some of us are the strong friend. If you're the strong friend, type it in the chat. Say, I'm the strong friend. You're the one that everybody leans on. You're the one that everybody always depends on, and sometimes it's tough being the one that everyone always calls, and sometimes it seems like, I can't catch a break. And so tonight, that's what this moment is all about. Joy has had her own, even as a kid, being able to navigate the areas of friendship, and sometimes it can be tough. It's not always easy. And one of the questions is, why do strong people struggle silently? And I think it's because we're always in a place where we don't feel safe. We're always in a place where we're always having to show up, and we don't always have a safe space to land. I think another reason why strong people always struggle silently is because we don't want to be a burden to someone else, because we are always that person for somebody else. And so being the strong one is not always easy. Joy, do you have anything to say about that? No. Are you ready to go to bed? Okay, we're gonna send Joy to bed. Goodbye, Joy.
Huh?
Are you gonna participate? You seem a little sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said she was all ready to come on, y'all. I think she didn't fell asleep somewhere along the line. But again, like I said, we're just having this conversation. Nothing too deep. But just talking about the strong one. What does that mean? And just accountability. It's really tough, I think, right now, is because we live in a day and time where a lot of people are concerned about themselves. A lot of people sometimes are worried about themselves, which is fine, because I feel like we have to practice self-care, right? Self-care is extremely important. You have to self-care, self-preservation. That's another word that my best friend always says, self-preservation. However, we also live in a world with people, and we need accountability. Good evening. We need accountability. And so because we need accountability, because we need community, right? We don't understand how much isolation destroys us. We don't understand how much isolation. Earlier, Joy made a comment. She was like, "What did you say, Joy, about being by yourself?
Hmm.
What did you say about being by yourself? What did you say?
It was okay to be on.
That it's okay to be alone?"
I don't remember.
But she was saying how it's okay to be alone. But the reality is that we need community. That part. Also, people showing you they aren't interested in helping the strong one. They assume you got it all together. Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest ones, is that people always feel like people that are strong, like you don't need help. Even down to, I'll say this, I've learned over the last couple of years of like sewing too, because I feel like, we only give a lot of times to the needy or people that need help, right? But I also believe in sewing up and sewing into what it is that I'm trying to grow into or desire. Let's see, what does a real check-in actually look like, right? So a real check-in actually looks like it being sincere. I do random checks, and I'll be honest, I'll say this: sometimes people that are not used to having good people don't know how to receive love from good people. They also don't know how to receive when someone is being kind to them, when someone is being nice to them. And so a real check-in actually looks like you actually acting like you care, not just, what are you doing? What do you got going on? Oh, I haven't heard from you in a while. I think that's one of one of the statements that, where have you been at? Oh yeah, you can call me, or you can check on me, or you can talk to me. And all of those things are great, but we don't understand what people are going through. We don't understand where people are. And so sometimes statements like that is like, it could be a put off where someone is not going to want to talk to you, but really being sincere, like, hey, how are you? Are you good? I'm good to ask somebody, like, where are you mentally? How's your mental state? How can I help you? How can I assist you? Like, me and my best friend, I love us. I wish she could be on, but she got a lot going on right now. And I originally really wanted her to be able to come on so you guys can, kind of hear from her. But we're quick to be like, how can I help you? How can I assist you? Where can I help? She was like, I got a busy week next week. And yes, I may have a busy week too, but I'm like, I may have a day and I'm like, well, how can I serve you? How can I help you? What areas can I do? What can I do to kind of lighten your load, right, for you a little bit? And I think that's more help than anything as it pertains to checking in. Joy, you checking on your friends?
Yes.
What does that look like?
Sometimes I ask them, are they okay? Some days, just to check in on them.
Do you think that you're the strong friend?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
What makes you think you're the strong friend?
Because everybody always comes to me for advice and stuff. Or if they need help with a situation, they always come to me about it.
How does that make you feel?
It's good, but sometimes I
JB,
have
sit
to
down.
realize that I can't carry all their weight on me. So
Mm,
sometimes I just
that's a good point.
separate myself. Sometimes, but most of the time people come to me for advice and I give it to them and stuff.
But sometimes it gets a little weighty.
Yeah, so I had to kind of step back,
Right.
take a breather, and then come back.
That's good. I think that's a good point. Joy said that sometimes you got to take a breather and step back. And I think that's the part about self preservation. I think that's the difference a lot of times between going into isolation and self preservation, is the place of just taking a breather, like not putting up walls, right? But creating boundaries. And I think that's exactly what Joy is telling us to do, is that sometimes it can be weighty and overwhelming, but I'm not going to put up a wall. Please sit down. I'm not going to put up a wall, right? However, I'm going to establish boundaries where I can take a step back, where I can, remove myself and be able to come back. Do you communicate with them when you feel like you're overwhelmed, or do you just kind of just take a step back?
I just take a step back.
You just take a step back. And I think that's another part too sometimes. Okay, Olivia said asking the question and staying long enough to really listen is key. That's a really good point. I think that's the main thing, is like, we can ask people, are they okay, but are you really showing that you actually are listening and that you care, is when you actually, like, Olivia said, that you stick around long enough to actually hear what that response looked like. My phrase is, how do you need me to show up for you? That's really good. That way I'm not assuming what they need, and I allow people to articulate their needs. And that's a good point. And that brings me back to what Joy was saying. Now, Joy's a little bit younger, so it's a little bit different in her interaction with her friends, but in her need to take a step back. But one thing I will say is that I think a lot of times we are not great communicators, but I'll be honest, we're also not great receivers either. Right. And what I mean by that is, if you cannot show up for somebody in the way that they need, sometimes it's the communication part, right, that takes away the offense. And I think that we don't always do a great job with communicating with people, about where we are, and where we aren't. I remember I was going through a season of grief, and I was experiencing like death after death after death. And the reality is I was communicating with my people. I was communicating with my friends. I was communicating with my circle that, y'all, I don't have it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot be to y'all, the things that I've always been. And so, although I want to be able to show up for you in this capacity, I just can't right now. And that's one thing, Joy, I want you to be able to learn even as you get older, is that being able to communicate with your friends that I cannot show up for you maybe in the way that you think that I can show up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right. Thank you, Joy. Joy's going to bed, y'all. She's tired.
Bye, guys.
Absolutely love the fact that Joy's age, she is already understanding self-preservation and protection of her peace while still wanting to help her friends and loved ones. It takes many adults years in age to learn this and implement it. Absolutely. And it just comes from conversation. And I think it's because me and her had the conversation. So I think it makes it easier for her to be able to have the conversation with her friends. But I think the major thing is just like, y'all have heard me say this all the time, is that conversations kill assumptions, right? And assumptions are the reason why many people find themselves offended. And I think that's what makes being the strong one so hard sometimes, is because our no's become offensive, right? I can't do it right now. People become offended because people are so used to us showing up a certain type of way. People are so used to us being a certain type of way with them. And so they're not oftentimes able to handle the no, or I can't, or not right now. A lot of times, even if you say, you know what, maybe not today, can we try for another day? And people really do literally become offended because you can't be to them what they want you to be. And I think sometimes we have to be okay with that. I'm learning that in this season of my life, is that my life has shifted drastically, y'all. I mean, really, really, really drastically. And so because my life has shifted, I have to be okay with people even painting. I'm gonna say this, painting whatever picture they want to paint about me, right? When I can't show up for you, when I can't be what you want me to be, and hearing like, oh, you're grand now, or you think you're this now, or you're on this level, you don't have time for us anymore. And it's not the time, it's not the fact that I don't have time, I don't think I'm grand, I don't think I'm better. Those are none of the things. The reality is that my plate has shifted. And because my plate has shifted, I have to make sure that self-preservation, y'all, is present in my life. I have to make sure that I'm showing up for myself, I'm showing up for my children. So if I can't show up for people that I have not that I'm normally able to show up for, I can't get upset at whatever you paint in your mind, or whatever you allow your mind to believe about what I am and who I am in this season of my life. And I think we have to be okay with that. There are times in our lives where you might have been able to do a lot, but now you may have two children, you got three children. When you have one child, it's different. I can maneuver a certain type of way. But y'all, when you got three kids, and you got a husband, and you got a business, and you got this, like, my life is shifted. And so I can't show up for you, right? But this is what National, Friend Check-in is all about, is that, like, checking on your friend. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what that person is going through. Like, you don't know what they're struggling with in this moment. They could be having the biggest breakdown of their life. And the only thing you're concerned about is that you didn't text me back, or you didn't call me back, or you didn't come to my birthday party. And I remember there was a season of my life, where I lost a lot of friends due to transition and not being able to be what they wanted me to be. I'm going through a divorce. I have a business. I have kids, and my play has changed. And so because my play has changed, I remember, I couldn't show up for somebody's birthday. Now, I've been to every birthday you've had, every single one. And one birthday, I could not show up. All of a sudden, oh, now your season is up, because I could not be one time what you wanted me to be. Even after I've already communicated with you about what's happening. And so I had to learn to just, like, be okay. Tiffany said, I'm learning to set boundaries in all areas of my life. And my no isn't offensive. Absolutely. It's not. Like, my no, I did a live earlier this week, and I was just talking about, like, what we're carrying, and the weight of what we carry, and how we have to be okay with saying no to things. We have to understand our capacity level in not carrying more than we have the ability to carry. How to build safe relationships, right? So the way I say how to build safe relationships, number one is that, like, self-awareness. You have to know yourself, you have to know your capacity, you have to know the type of person that you are. That's one of the biggest things. When I am meeting people, I'm learning people, right? And sometimes we can take time. I'll say this: we can take time to learn in romantic or, type relationships, and we want to learn that person. But even in platonic relationships, you have to learn your people. That's why I wish my best friend was on, because we have this dialogue all the time when we have our events, because I had to learn her. I had to learn her quiet moments. I had to not be offended by her quiet moments. I had to learn what she liked and what she doesn't like. I already know that Saturdays are her days that she normally decompresses. So we may not talk as much on Saturdays, and that's okay. I don't feel like she's any less my friend because she can't talk to me on a Saturday. Right? That's her time. I had to learn that before major events, a lot of times she gets overwhelmed and she has to detach herself so that she can show up as her best self. When the first time she ever did it, I was like, now, wait a minute. Right. But I had to communicate with my friend, and then I had to learn her. And so now I already know, like, we about to have an event. This is what it's going to look like. And I'm okay with giving her space. We got to be okay, y'all. We'll let people have their space. Let them be who they are. But I feel like we have to learn them. Even in romantic relationships, right? I'm always asking questions. I'm not like asking like, what's your favorite color in that? But I'm like, what do you like to do? Are you a morning person? Are you not? Do you like to talk on the phone? Do you not like to talk on the phone? Right. And then after I'm able to assess like where we are, then I'm able to say, hey, listen, like, I understand you don't like to talk on the phone, right? However, right, I need to hear from you, ever so often. And even if you're not in the space where you want to talk or whatever the case may be, hey, listen, I can receive a text that says, hey, right now, I just need a minute. Cool. All right. But it comes to communication, and that's how we build safe relationships, is by communication. Honest communication. Don't say something works for you if it doesn't work for you. This is not just about romantic relationships. Don't say something works for you if it doesn't. Don't say you're okay with something if it isn't. Right? Be honest. The only way you can build safe relationships is by being honest about what works, what doesn't work, where you are in life, right? Sometimes as strong people cannot be honest. You make it seem like, everything is okay. And I'm not saying that we have to dump on people, because I'm not going to dump on you, but I'm also going to be very honest and transparent about where I am. I have to be. If I got it today, I do. If I don't, I don't. If somebody may reach out, listen, I don't have the capacity right now, but give me a day to gather myself and I'll be there. Places I used to be able to show up and do. Like, y'all, I am the pop-up queen. I love to pop up on my friends. If my friends are ministering, I'm coming. And I'm coming by surprise because I don't want to be on the program. I don't need you to acknowledge me. I'm simply coming because I want to support. That's just who I am. But in this and normally, like even engagements, I've had to turn engagements down. I'm normally the one that I can do that, but I can't do that right now. Right. And I got to be okay with it. But I also have to communicate with my people around me. Hey, this is where I am, especially people that are used to me showing up a certain type of way. And it's okay. Why do you deserve to be checked on too? The strong one. You deserve to be checked on. You deserve. But let me tell you another thing that I had to learn. I had to learn the difference between people that I'm assigned to and people that I'm in relationship with. Okay. People that I'm assigned to in relationship. Because the reality is there's a difference between, sometimes you meet people and that you are an assignment. They're an assignment to you, that you are there to pour, right? And when you acknowledge and understand that you are there to pour, let me tell you, when you understand that you are there to pour, you're not really necessarily looking for any level of reciprocity, right? But when you are in relationship with someone, then you see that in the eyes of reciprocity. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I've met a lot of people kind of in my life that God placed in my life for me to help them. But the honest to God truth is that they didn't have the capacity for me, right? I might have had the capacity for them, but they didn't have the capacity for me. And so I had to go and find people that had the capacity for where I am. A young lady had called me a couple weeks ago, and she was asking me some questions, and I was like, you need community, and she was like, but I don't have it. I said, if you don't have it, build it. and she made a post online about, her situation, and I'm single, I don't have any children, I'm looking for people that want to hang out, blah blah blah. And people started responding, right? And so she started to create her community. And so if you don't have it, if you don't have people, right, you build it. Also, you cannot be prideful, right? You can't be intimidated by people that know more than what you do. And then you go find people that have the capacity for who you are. And so that's exactly what I had to do. A lot of times I'm in circles with people maybe my age that they don't always have, I would say, the capacity for me. And so I had to learn how to um, go and find the people that had the capacity for who I am. But I just wanted to check in on you guys. I just wanted to say, to have this conversation. I think it's one. Me and my best friend, we have it all the time. Y'all know BB. Y'all see her on here with me. We have these conversations about friendships a lot, and what does that look like in healthy relationships and building healthy relationships. And so I'm learning in this season, I'll just say for me, about self preservation over isolation, right? I'm not isolating myself, I'm not drawing back from people, but I'm making sure that I have enough for me. Because I've done it enough where I didn't, but I'm also making sure that I check in on my friends at the same time. you know, we be on, y'all listen, y'all take your phones, y'all go to the bathroom. It takes 2 seconds to take on that phone, and I have like certain days that I'm off, and I use those days as my check-in days. Like, hey, how are you? How are you doing? How's your week been? How's your mental state? Are you doing well mentally? And so even though, yes, I'm busy, and yes, I'm running, and yes, all the things, I still don't use those things as an excuse. I may not be able to show up in the capacity that I used to show up, but I still make sure that I show up and that I'm present. And so even in this, we need community, y'all. Listen, we need one another, and I know sometimes it's hard being the strong one, but go find yourself a circle of people that have the capacity for who you are. Check on your strong friend. Like when you get off of here, use this day, this National Friend Check-in Day, to check in on somebody. Ask them sincerely how they're doing. And like Olivia said, stay long enough to listen to what they're saying. Listen to their needs. Reassure them, that everything is going to be okay. And if everything is wonderful, and they got, great news, celebrate their great news and their great moments. And let us not become a people that is always so selfish, and we make things about ourselves, right? There has to be a healthy balance between us checking in and loving on people and being there for people, and us being there for ourselves. So that's all I had tonight. I wanted to participate in this. As soon as my cousin told me about it, I was like, I love that idea. I love the idea of check-in. And what they do is they normally meet up. And I told her, I said, listen, I said, you need to do something. I was like, where you do like just a national meetup where all of the besties like just come together and we all just, kind of meet up. But utilize this moment, this day, to check in on somebody. Ask them, how are you? And make it a habit. Let's check on our strong friends. Let's check on our people and make sure that people are okay. And sometimes you may not have all the resources even be able to help them, but you may know somebody that can. So that's all I have today. I love y'all so much. I pray y'all have a great evening. I'm praying for my strong people. I'm praying for my strong friends. I'm praying for those of you that feel like you don't have people, that feel like you don't have a circle, that you don't have anybody to lean on. I'm praying for you that God will send you somebody. And in the meantime, listen, hit me up. Like I said, I do what I can and when I can. I have a group on Facebook. Get in the group, say hello. Find you a business bestie, find you a life partner. Like I said, me and my business bestie, we tell our story all the time. We found each other in an accountability group. That's how we met. And we were in a place where we both desired to be married, and we thought that marriage was going to look really different for us. However, we found out really fast how God has knitted us together, and how God has allowed us to be able to navigate and do life with one another. And so I pray the same thing for you guys, that you'll find that one that is able to help you do life, and that you realize you don't have to do it by yourself. All right. So I love y'all so much. Y'all have an amazing evening, an amazing weekend. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.